All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is going to be a video where we use Excel to do data visualization, even though there are programs that do it a lot better and coding does it a lot better. Most of us are going to be stuck with Excel long term. So if you're watching this, Excel can get you pretty far. It's not going to do a lot of the stat capabilities that a program like Prism or coding or SPS or any of those can do. Um, but you can definitely pass stuff off. And with the right kind of stuff, you can get this working. So again, we're in our faux data set where I'm tracking fake attendance. If they're high attenders or low, I've got quizzes, exams, labs, bunch of other data, hooray. And then we cut off high attendances if you made it to 90% of classes. Everything else is a low. So shoot. So looking down here, I've got some like pretenders set up here, but I think one of the best and easiest things to check out first is going to be just how to do bar graphs. So I'll actually even try and zoom a little bit in. So like we saw from couple of last videos, you can do for each of these, I have the average running up here right now and saying, oh, look, perfect. Like this average is for the low ones, and that's all caught up there. And then I can say right here, here's the average I'll set up for everybody who's a high attender, and that's for exam one right there. And then we just shifted everything over. Something I just added a quick standard deviation to each one, a standard deviation function. So you would do sdev p in this case to get just kind of your standard dev value. Sorry. Now, again, we're still working in percent data, which ends at 100, which means it's not as technically eligible for t-tests, and normal distribution doesn't always happen here, et cetera, et cetera. For the purpose of the video, again, though, we're mainly looking into how to make this a little more visually appealing. And the reason that we added low and high standard dev is that you need error of some kind, and Excel is horrible usually at doing error. So here's this horrific thing here. Let's actually just start over right there. I want to say, I want to graph this in a bar graph, right? You go to insert and you go to your little bar graphs right here. Okay. So already, key mistakes that we've got running around here are the colors, the orange and blue are the standard. They're horrible. Okay. So for everybody listening, anything about what you're looking at right now, the gray font, the grid lines, the color, it all has to go. Because the minute you ever turn something in like this to anybody, they'll be like, this person's lazy. This person doesn't know what they're doing. And I've seen data that is amazing. Like I've referenced this drug resistance paper I once saw. No citations, buried deep in Google because they had these terrible graphs. And you'll get buried just like them. You can mess with color a little bit with using this tool sometimes, but like ultimately we're gonna go in and do some other stuff. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and zoom in a little bit for us, even though I want to keep everything sort of in mind here. All right, so immediately to you can have a chart title, but remember, like the last video we did, you're gonna have a caption below this. So you probably don't actually want that. Okay, next thing to go. The grid lines are hideous. Get rid of them. Okay. Well, what have I done? There it is. Get grid lines, pluck those out of there. They are terrible. Okay. Next, everything in here. Just a sec. I have to pause. Just a sec. All right, so we're back. The dog got out. Sorry. Anyway, where were we? I was really taking this thing to town. All right, piece number two that's really easy to get out of this normal Excel that we hate here. Make sure your text is actually black, okay? See how that actually makes like a strange difference? Here's another one. Make sure your text is not in Calibri. Calibri is for losers now, okay? Get that in Arial. Get that like nice and blocky like that. And in fact, you may as well bold it, right? Like there's very few text on here, things like that. Looks good. All right, so we're actually already not looking too bad. Let's actually move this over here for the stuff here. Okay, so I'm going to double click here. That's going to bring us over here. You don't want to do any fill or border stuff because that's kind of going to just like, you can do a border if you want. You can do a solid black line probably and make sure everything's black because everything defaults into blue. You can have a nice little border like that if you want. It's nothing like too crazy with that. As we keep going here, what I would say, don't do a fill unless you're like weird. Like, see, that's gonna, I don't know. You can do a fill. I would not. Most things have a white background. Okay, shadow glow, none of that stuff. Size, properties, you can already do like, you can do all that. Um, Oh, speaking of, I did take the fill out of there. Yeah, I'd probably actually just do a white fill in that case, just to be safe. Okay, so let's take a look at the axes again here. See, I'm going to highlight that right there, axes type. There's actually this little click here, axes themselves. This little shortcut is going to kind of help you. So if you go to that more options, it's going to kind of help a little bit. Here, what we're going to do is, that's the fill. We want the line on the axis to be a solid line, and we want it to be black. Okay, looks good. See that nice black line down there? Perfect. It's looking very good right now. Okay, we're going to need to do the same thing over here. And see how I had to click that axis to sort of get over to here. Right now, there's no line. We need a solid black line. Look at that. It's knowing that we're using black line. Look at this. We're already doing a lot better, right? Next, let's take a look at these bars, right? On the border, again, do a nice solid black line like that. And right now I'm doing both. I'm clicking both of them. I think there's a way to do everything like at once. I can't remember for whatever reason. But notice how the addition of that black border line is already making things look like pretty good, right? So let's keep going here. Lock aspect, properties, give me that. What I want is for these options, series, I want gap width. I want that to, this is one thing we can also erase from the default. I want more data. See how I'm reducing that gap width between things? I don't want it like, look at 0 is a little gross, but gap width can be pretty good. Like the more you give it on here, get these series overlap. Ooh, I don't want them to like overlap a lot. The more that you can kind of spread these and make the data bigger in these bar graphs, the better off you're going to be. But it does take some tweaking, as you can tell. But you can get like really like good thick bars like this. I mean, that looks good. Awesome, right? Like we're actually pretty good here. And I would say that you're maybe in a pretty good spot to kind of move forward on this. Um, with what's on the bottom right now, it is arranged kind of like normally. It's arranged like kind of chronologically, like quiz to the final exam and then the final class and the final lab thing. What you can do when you want to arrange stuff is if you go to the source data over here, so notice how I'm like plugging over here. What I can do is say, I'm going to say something like difference right here. And I'm just going to do a quick, if I just say like this population minus this population right here, that's going to be the percent difference. Now, I'm not necessarily going to graph this, but watch what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to go and use our old tool. Say I'm going to sort data based on difference. I'm going to do smallest to largest. See how that's actually going to take me from smallest to largest difference on here on the graph as well. So that is one thing that Excel technically has going for it, is that you can rearrange the data very nicely depending on how you want to show ascension, things like that. You could go by highest average or something if you wanted, but yeah, so that's not bad right there. All right, next thing. I'd say this actually doesn't look too bad. I'm trying to think to myself. I mean, as far as colors go, like the green and the blue aren't terrible, but what I would probably say is like, you can never truly go wrong with some good old grayscale. Sorry, like it's super boring, et cetera, et cetera. I think you can do, for example, like I can highlight this one right here if I wanted to and say, or maybe I would highlight like lab or something just to accentuate like, oh, look, like this particular one though happened to be a very like high difference or something. Like I'm not necessarily sure that's true in the data right here. You can technically like individualize each one if you wanted to. But grayscale's good until you want to do like a very big accentuated point. So maybe what I would say is like, see how exam exam total or class percent is, and you have to double click on there. Class percent is like an overall arching thing. So I'm going to say red here, and then I'll say like, I don't know, I could say something like, I don't know, yellow or something. Oh, see, but I didn't control Z to get out of that on that one. And then if I control, no, it's not going to do that. Control Z on that one, get out of there. So again, like you have some options if you want to do something a little different. But even notice how like if I'm messing with this right here, it's already getting a little like, well, what do you mean by that? And now like this is now the key is not going to fit as well. So only use the different colors if you really want to make a point of some kind. Otherwise, you start getting out of that nice uniform look that we can rely on pretty nicely. Also notice the gradient fills are sort of chaotic. I'll let you mess with those if you want, but they don't really do as much as we would like. All right, so something super important about this graph is that technically we're dealing with populations here. We want to apply error, right? This is always one of the issues. I want to apply error bars, but look what it just did. I added error bars, but they're all the same. That's dumb. If I say something like standard dev, this weird thing shows up and it's like floating and horrible. That has been the death of so many projects, obviously, when you don't know. So I'm going to say more options. And add error bars based on the series. Let's do the low ones first. Okay. So we're going to add our custom ones, I just had it. What the heck? Where'd it go? Oh, I got to click them again. All right. So we're going to add the ones on the high attenders right here. So having caps on both is always nice. Having a cap, perfect. Now, all these are like weird, like you can just set the value, but remember, each population has its own error. So you got to do custom, right? So we're going to do the high attenders in this case. High standard dev in one direction for the highs is right there. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to have the standard dev go both ways. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. Just going to hit OK. Nice. And now see, like each population has a different standard deviation based on right here in the high population. What you're going to need to do right here is obviously you got to color these nice. They got to be something. In fact, here's where like, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to use like a red or something, you could. That's a little hideous, but I mean, I'm just trying to show the colors a little bit. Same thing over here. I'm going to say custom. This is my low attendance population. So for each of these values, there you go. Then you would say, all right, I want to upload low right there. And these are those custom values. Oh no. Yep, it's angry. All right, let's say that. Yeah, if you enter anything and it's like gets cross with you, it'll kind of throw a fit at you. All right, solid line, red, looking good. Like I said, the red error bars are a little much. Maybe what I would do to help this out is I would say maybe just go for a less aggressive gray. And now for these, you could do just like black or something. Wouldn't be bad. So not terrible. You can definitely get away with some good stuff here. It'll depend on your abilities to make these calculations in Excel manually, though, to get the right stuff. But overall, it's not terrible, right? And if you want to mess with the tick marks, for example, right now what you're doing is you can set the maximum right here. So like these are exam scores, right? The maximum technically should be 100, right? So I hit enter on that. Perfect. Now we're actually using more room too. Let's say right here, the major ticks, let's say I just, I'm like, oh, that's too many right there. I don't like that. I'm going to say, for example, every 20 ticks is what we're going to go do. And then you just click off that and it's going to show up. If I want more tick marks, I can say, do a little like tick marks like that, minor tick marks. Ooh, make sure they're facing the right way outside. Yeah, I'm going to face them all inside now. Yeah, see, like this is part of the like aesthetics. Oh, that kind of is ugly. But if you want to change things, you can always just go back here. Here, wait, I should just do them cross. Yeah, there you go. You can do stuff like that with the tick marks. They look good. Hooray. Tick marks on this one aren't going to matter as much. Since those are going to end up more looking like borders, basically. Not the worst thing on the planet, but you probably don't need tick marks if you already have stuff here. As far as where the legend goes, Excel's not too bad about like making it accessible. I mean, you can actually move it yourself to like this nice like corner, like flush like that. And I mean, at this point, you're looking pretty good. I would say adding some axes titles here. So I would go ahead and add both. And right here, we can say, and I could actually give it some room here, probably. Probably gonna have, yeah, we might actually need to kind of shove over a little bit to give it some room. But you can say like percent right there. I mean, yeah, you'd probably say like score, like student earn percent or something. And then right here, uh, assessment, not too bad. You should make these titles probably bigger than your little subtitles right there, right? Same thing on this one, even though, yeah, like I'm kind of running out of room over here. I'm trying to move. No, that's just not going to do it. Yeah, so yeah. Excel's clunkiness kind of gets steps on itself. But look at where we started, like reverse the video back to that hideous like blue and orange thing, and we've come a long way here. So that's another good one. All right, so another cool one is going to be box and whiskers. This is going to be one that you can show a sample of, like student population A versus B. In our case, we're just going to lose our low attenders and our high attenders in this case. So here's just a totally raw one. I've gone up here. Here, I'll just start again. So what you can do with box and whiskers, excellent. You go to this, nope, you go to histograms and then box and whiskers. Actually, I should have highlighted everything. And then you say, all right, I want to do box and whiskers. What these are going to do, but now I'm all the way down here. Come on. Yeah, I could probably cut and paste this, but I'm being lazy. There we go. So again, basic stuff. I'm going to lose the chart title, definitely lose the grid lines. You'll notice that like this, that little one doesn't mean much. I still need a line down there though. Let's go here. Axes, primary, we still need a horizontal line. There it is. But we just don't want that little one right there because it's kind of just saying like that there's going to be anything. Oh, no, axes options. I'm going to have to get rid of that text somehow. No line, automatic, fill. Come here, guy. Get out of there. And I get frustrated with Excel just like everybody else. So with each of these, by the way, again, in decreasing that gap width between the histograms, maybe not to 0 like I just did, is going to make things look a little better. Obviously, with each of these, I'm going to say like, all right, here's my low group. I'm going to actually match that color to that hideous red right there. This one, I can do that solid green that we've got going right there for the high attending people. You can see that blue on there. We gotta do black borders on there. Okay, black border again is what we want. So same principles can go through here. So what you're actually looking at is the populations. All the red ones are in like a big chunk in like shown an average. Oh, and actually, did you notice something? My little, how my little like shift tool and all that? Watch this, it actually cut off. See, it didn't end. So that's something to look out for. When you've got columns of different lengths, make sure that you're getting the whole thing each time. There you go. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get that horrible little one out of there. It's going to annoy me. I can't remember right now. But, all right. Arial, black, bold, done, done, done. Okay, and what you can also do then is go into the thing right here. You can show all the little points in there. You can also show a mean line. You don't have to. And then inclusive versus exclusive mean is going to change median, is going to change what you are going to be showing. And just whatever you end up doing, make sure that you just match it in that case. But little box and whiskers aren't terrible, I would say. They're definitely a good way to show like different series of data. You'll have to do your own stats test in here to get like a p-value and stuff like that. Excel that won't go that far with you. All right, this gross little, oh yeah, here, give me that. I know I can't help but like just try and fix all these little things. This always happens. I cannot remember how to get rid of this stupid little thingy. No, none. It's like text options. No, no fill. Okay, yeah, we just don't have the text down there. In this case, you can probably say, I want to add a legend in this case, and low and high. There you go. That's not too bad, right? But if you add something, notice you have to go back and reformat it as your nice setup like that. So, and then I would probably put this one, probably put that at the bottom right there. Nice. So looking pretty good. And again, you can do all the tick marks like we did before over here on this axis. Anything like that that you think is going to help. Hooray. All right, I'm not going to add them. I want to, but I'm not going to. Nice. So then get out of here for a bit. Just a couple more. All right. A lot of people's favorite, a nice little XY plot. These can be extremely helpful in Excel, especially for the fact that they're just going to be, especially if you just want to see a trend. So what we've technically got going right here is just the exam 1 performance versus the exam 3 performance. As you can tell, most people tend to do about the same relatively that they do on exam 1 and exam 3. We don't like that, but we hope things improve. And in some cases, a lot of cases, they technically do. So that's good. So I'm going to take this whole thing again, get a good font in there. We're going to start demolishing. The XY might be one of the times that you would use the little grid lines, but honestly, like they're just useless. I don't know. They're another thing that people are gonna know then that you made this in Excel. So again, the maximum for any score is 100. So I wanted it 100. You can just click off and it'll automatically add. Axis value, what's that gonna do? Don't worry about that. Gotta make sure that this line is black right here. Come on, there you go. Same thing down here. Solid line, black, good. Now, another thing with these ones, you can do a lot more with the little plots. Problem is right now, I'm definitely just grabbing these, but I just added a border to that. So if I grab these, careful, yeah, because sometimes the line is going to try and say like, hey, that's what I'm up to. So I think what I'm going to do is actually double click on one of the points. No, I don't want that. Border. Okay, there we go. No, but I want it on all of them. What was the other way that this worked? Sadness. No, no line. Series options. You can tell that I don't work usually in Excel. Usually I'm in GraphPad or something, sadly. All right, so if I go here, I'm going to say right here. All right, no error bars in this case. Trend line. I mean, yeah, you can obviously add a trend line, but I want to do something different right now. Trying to remember. Format data point. No. Switch columns. Give me this. Just a sec. Get me out of here for a bit. Okay. So yeah, grab these, go here, go to marker. There we go. Solid line, make it black. There we go. And you're going to want to make sure that this width of this line is pretty faint. But see how good we're starting to look right there? Sorry, that took me a minute to find that. It's horrible. All right. Solid line. Oh, no, sorry. You got to click marker first. We've got a border in. Okay, here we go. Solid fill. Let's call them like a nice like gray is also fine. Oh, that's actually hideous. White is not bad on here, but these plots are pretty nice to mess with color with. I'll give them that. So we could even give like a nice little red right there. That's kind of cool. Now, vary colors by point. I haven't actually really messed with this a ton. And as far as I can tell, like I'm showing you here, it's sort of chaotic. It's just giving you like a palette of colors, so I wouldn't mess a ton with that. I mean, gradients are really cool, like I said, but they're just kind of weird. So I'm gonna mess with this. So it's like let's do a white to a red, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's kind of cool, but like I don't know. I would probably just go with the solid fill and move on from there. So marker, solid fill, go to red. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay. So again, you can add the tick marks, you can do all that good stuff like we did before. In this case, again, where Excel is very nice is the fact that like a trend line is pretty easy to add. Linear, then I can click the trend line and be like, hey, so it's linear right there. You can set intercept, you can display the equation on the chart. That's not bad. See, not horrible. The R squared is probably all you really need on here. People don't typically look for a slope. The R squared tells people how much these things are influencing each other statistically. So basically like, oh, and actually I need to make sure that I've got axes titles on there. Okay, so I'm pretty sure, yep, this is exam 1. These are in percents right there. Yep. And again, yep, sorry, now I'm like messing with everything because yeah, again, I'm going to adjust these scales to make sure that it ends at 100. because the exam doesn't go to 120 points or 120%. Yeah, and you can mess with the axes to kind of make them fit, things like that. Oh yeah, and then your line, definitely make sure that it is like black or something like that is contrasting and not hideous Excel blue. But look at that. That's not too bad. It's a good little XY, right? I mean, and we only made that with graph or with Excel, so that's pretty good. Taking a last look. Okay. Pie graphs should be used sparingly because I don't know, they get kind of overused and they can really make normal data look like just terrible. All I'm going to do in this one is say that anybody that dropped the class, let's look if they were low or high attenders before that. That's all we're saying right here with this chart. So I'm going to zoom in on us so we can kind of mess with it. Again, you're going to have a figure caption. You don't need that. This seems fine. Pie graphs are in Excel are mainly going to be about formatting. I would say in this case, I'm going to take this little slice right here. These are the people that were attending pretty highly, and then low attenders are going to be the ones that are in that kind of gross red that I've got going on. And now it's, yeah, okay. It does need to say vary by slice, sorry. So we'll go here. Here is all of our low attenders. Here's our high attender, our 1. Again, yeah. Get out of there. Okay. Again, it's sort of why I don't usually go by that. All right, automatic, no. Okay, so now I think I've got, there we go. I just have to really, really select what I need. There we go. Okay. Let's get back and do some fun formatting. All right, so other things that you can do here. Adding a border line to a pie is really neat. It makes it look kind of crisp. I really like that. You can do some other fun stuff. You can explode that little section out if you wanted. Actually, I'm so sorry. This is supposed to be the students that skipped all the time, so they're in that gross red. Here's the students that didn't skip. Sorry. There we go. So you can do like fun stuff like this. It's not bad. I don't know what angle of first slice. Oh yeah, you can change the angle of where you want. So again, it's normally going to just start like at the edge right there, so it's not bad. As far as everything else, oops, and always be careful when you're moving stuff in here. I'm just going to do my standard get up and go. There we go. And there are some other good properties that you can do with these. You can add some pretty decent, right? So you see, you can do data labels in here to show the raw numbers. And I'm going to say, like, you can kind of change their position of where the numbers are, for example. So I'm going to put them in center, but then I'm also going to do more options. I want to see, I don't think it's automatically. A cool thing you can do in pies is say, like, there's the raw number of each one, but what percent did each make? It looks like here you're going to have to manually do that. So 1 out of 14 is some small percent less than 10, and 13 out of 14 students that dropped is a lot. Yeah, above 90. So not too bad. Again, another one that I sparingly use pie graphs since they can get out of control pretty quickly. But look at how far we've come here. Sorry, this video has been a little choppier because again, it's not my favorite thing to use freaking Excel for graphs. And now look, I'm just going to go over here and make these colors kind of coordinate like I should have in the beginning. Yep, I'm going to rectify things eventually. Anyway, yeah, look at that. Attend class. How dare you? So, looks pretty fun. You can get very far with this, but the next video is going to detail why GraphPad makes this easier on you. Excel is still the king of data organization, all that. And if you're starting out, these are excellent starts right here for how to begin that journey on here. So definitely do not worry if you want to try something in Excel. In fact, I actually wanted to split these populations. Let's see if this works or not. It's not gonna. Okay, I just got to end the video. Wait, I'm so determined to figure this out. If I can do two populations X, Y. Nope, see, it didn't like that. Okay, we're done. That's I think I've done enough. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this helped a bit.